Hi guys and welcome to my channel. I'm Marco on RC74. Today's video is all about the Joysway Rocket 26. It's an already pretty modified racing boat and I did a few more tests and modifications the last few months. So I want to guide you through all the modifications and all the test runs I did. The first modification is the ESC. Then we also have a look at different prop sizes. And at the end of the video I will also try another motor. But before we jump into the video, I'd like to say big thanks to today's video sponsor, which is PCBWay. PCBWay.com supports you in 3D printing, CNC machining and PCB manufacturing. They support you worldwide with great products, so check out their website at PCBWay.com and enjoy all the great offers you get from PCBWay. So thanks again for sponsoring this video. Now enough talking, let's jump into the video and have a look at the first modifications. The 50 amp ESC I used so far got always pretty hot after a short run, so I decided to change to the same Flycolor series but to the 90 amp version. Luckily this ESC has the exact same dimensions like the 50 amp version, only the electronics inside is different, but the whole rest is exactly the same, so there were no issues with putting the new bigger or stronger ESC into the Joysway Rocket. I did also weight comparison, so the 50 amp ESC is a bit lighter than the 90 amp ESC, which makes sense because of the thicker wires and stronger electronics. So then I did the comparison with the cutted wires, and also like this, the 90 amp is a little bit heavier, and here you can see the final wire setup. Then I soldered the ESC to the RC receiver and used Plastidip to isolate the wires. Then some double-sided tape and a Velcro keep the ESC nice in place in my Joysway Rocket. Then everything was ready for the first test runs. This is my usual spot, so wind conditions were good, the water was absolutely flat, no waves at all, so everything good for some test runs. And everything worked fine so far. Couldn't tell like this if it's faster or not, but I used the GPS inside the Joysway Rocket to get the exact speed out of the speed runs. As on the last speed runs, I also used the 35mm prop from AliExpress. This is an aluminum prop made of 70-75 aluminum CNC machine, so pretty nice prop and very affordable for the quality it is. And so I did a few runs just to make sure that I got the proper measurement of the maximum speed I got out of the Joysway Rocket. Then after a few runs everything went smooth. I did a check about the speed. The latest fastest speed I had was 76 kilometers per hour, and as you can see here it's 78 now, so it seems that the 90 amp ESC helps to make it a slightly bit faster. After the successful test runs with the new 90 amp ESC, I wanted to try different props. The standard prop I used is the same size as the prop out of the box. It's a 35mm prop, but I wanted to try a smaller prop, a 32mm prop, to get more RPM into the water. So there is less resistance, less drag in the water with a smaller prop, but at the same time you get also less grip in the water, so it was difficult to say which performs better. So next modification you can see now is the testing of the new prop. Here you can see the 35mm aluminum prop from AliExpress, which I used so far, and I wanted to figure out if a smaller prop with 32mm prop from the same series from AliExpress can even improve the speed. For this to make it fit, I had to make bushing to make the prop fit perfect on the shaft, because the prop was too small, too short, and with the bushing the prop fits perfectly on the shaft of the Joysway Rocket. Then I did the next test runs with a smaller prop, and what I noticed is at slow speed that it increases the speed a little slower, so because of less torque, less grip in the water, but top speed looked pretty good. And you can also notice that there is higher RPM which comes to the water, so that's also because of less torque of the smaller prop in the water. And the boat also, in my opinion, run a little bit smoother, so also because of less torque on the hull was more stable in the water. So the speed runs looked pretty promising and everything went well, and perhaps also a little less amps just because of the smaller prop, so you can keep the electronics, the motor and the ESC a little cooler using a smaller prop. Then it was time again to check the speed, the maximum speed of these test runs with 32mm, and it was 77 kilometers an hour, so almost the same as with the 35, but in case of temperature and amps I will use the smaller prop for the future. For the last test I wanted to try a new motor with less kV, so the current motor was the 3500 kV motor, which had pretty high RPM on the prop, and a lot of people talk about more torque on the motor but less RPM to actually get better speeds, higher speeds. So I tried out the 2800 kV motor with more torque and 35mm prop, and this is the last modification in today's video. So let's jump into this modification and let's find out if this modification helped to make the boat run quicker. The motor I used so far is a 3500 kV motor from QX Motors, which is also from AliExpress, and I wanted to change to a 2800 kV motor from the same series, also AliExpress. The 2800 kV motor is a bit bigger in diameter, it's about 2 millimeters, it's a 30mm diameter in comparison to the 28mm of the 3500 kV motor. So I was pretty curious what the results will be. To make the prop fit, I had to prepare the motor shaft because there is no flat spot on the motor shaft when you get it from factory, so I had to make this flat spot to keep the coupler perfectly in place on the motor, otherwise the coupler will slip and you have no chance to get the torque onto the prop of the boat. So this is the setup, how it looked after the modification. And then I did a short run, dry run with the motor and the coupler on, just to check if there are any vibrations and if the motor timing is okay, but everything looked absolutely nice and clean, no vibrations at all and no shattering of the motor. On the test day on the water I had the issue that I had more wind, so there was pretty rough water and there was no chance to do some nice and clean speed runs. I had a lot of flip overs and also some dives, so it didn't work out to do some serious speed testing, so I had to wait for better weather situation and get proper speed tests with clean water with no waves at all. So this was the second test, so way better, almost zero wind and zero waves. So like this I was able to do some proper test runs, speed runs, and it was obvious that the boat is not as fast with the 35mm prop as with the 3500 kV motor. So This 30,000 kV on the prop seems to be not enough to make sense to make this boat run as fast as possible, and this test was about 62 kilometers an hour, so we'll definitely go with faster motors and smaller props to make a nice setup on the Joysway Rocket. This is it for today's episode on my Joysway Rocket 26. I hope you like this kind of content. More modifications will follow. I will try an even higher RPM motor, and I will do some modifications for hydrodynamics and aerodynamics on the hull. So I hope for even greater speeds after all the modifications which will come up. So thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.